It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Riding on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, getting a bone, getting high, getting shook. Watch all your bones, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. If you feel easy to do one night stands, try being a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
As they say, it's a long way to the top. Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome back to another installment of the 2007 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We're here from Richmond. It's race number 13 of 36. It's the Pontiac Excitement 400 as we get set to go short track racing here in this 3/4 mile short track, D-shaped oval here in Richmond, Virginia. As we take you to your racetrack for your starting lineup, as starting on pole for the first time since 2005, it's Matt Kenseth in the 17 car going to put his Roush Ford on the front row in tonight's race. Kevin Harvick in the 20 will be joining him on the front row. Starting in third position for Jasper Motorsports, it's Todd Bodine and DJ Kennington will qualify in the fourth position. Fifth place, that goes to Clint Boyer in the 4. A nice qualifying from Boyer and Morgan McClure. And sixth place will be Kurt Busch in the 01 car. Casey Kane, last week's winner, he'll be in 7th. And Scott Steckley in the 6th for Roush, a nice qualifying. Part-time start, be in 8th position. 9th goes to Elliott Sadler. And Casey Atwood will round out, the top 10 in tonight's qualifying order. 11th place goes to Carl Edwards, and Jimmy Johnson will start from the 12th position. Greg Biffle, P13, and John Andretti in the 14th spot. Scott Wimmer will start 15th place, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. joins him in 16th. Ryan Newman, the teammate of the 88, just behind in 17th, and 18th goes to Marcos Ambrose. 19th will be Jamie Murray, and Jeff Gordon will start from 20th. Casey Mears, 21st place. Bobby Labonte will be in the 22nd position. 23rd goes to Robbie Gordon, and Kyle Busch will be in the 24th spot. Tony Stewart starting 25th, and Scott Riggs will be in the 26th position. David Reagan in the 07 this week, he'll be 27th, and J.J. Yaley will be in the 28th spot. Ron Hornaday Jr. in the 1 for Phoenix, he'll be 29th, and Brad Keselowski is going to start from 30th place. Juan Pablo Montoya starts in 31st, and Eric Norris will be in the 32nd spot. Bobby East in the 60 car today. He'll be in 33rd on this Saturday night, and Ricky Hendrick, P34. Jeff Burton, 35th place, and 36 goes to Brian Vickers. Jeremy Mayfield will start 37th. Martin Truex Jr. in the 38th spot. Jason Leffler will start 39th. David Rudiman will be in 40th, and rounding out the field in the back row, it'll be Shane Meal in the 47, and Mike McLaughlin in the 26. 42-car field here, 120-lap race tonight, as Matt Kenseth will roll the field off in first, as we take you to the racetrack for the most famous words in motorsports here from Richmond Motor Speedway, or whatever this track is called. It's had a lot of name changes.
Drivers, start your engines.
Field roars to life as we get set to go 42-car field. Matt Kenseth starts on pole, Kevin Harvick in second. And now, as we get set in the second third of this 2007 season, you get to the point in the year you can start thinking about the big picture just a little bit as everybody starts to get sorted out and your status on the season is kind of a little more set in stone. Going into today's race, a lot of drivers looking to try and boost their way up the standings. A lot of drivers looking to prevent falling down the standings. Robbie Gordon enters today as the points leader, but has DJ Kennington and Tony Stewart hot on his tail. And those two are off to a way better qualifying than the 31 car is tonight. But nonetheless, still got the race and the points to play for. Matt Kenseth gonna lead us off to the green flag here as a pace car peels in. 120 lapper from Richmond. And as we head towards the restart box, the initial start here from Richmond. Green flag flies. It's the Pontiac Excitement 400, and we are green here from Richmond. All up to speed on the opening lap. Matt Kenseth opens up the race with a bang, and he is off to the races from the pole. Kevin Harvick settles in from second. Third place goes to Bedine. Battle for fourth is between Casey Kane, off to a good start in the 12. 83-4 now side by side for fifth. Trying to round out this top five early as it'll be another Pontiac into the top five. Elliott Sadler follows Kane through. Boyer, the first driver, stuck up on that outside, starting to hemorrhage position since the start of the race. You see Kennington stuck up there on the top as well. Drivers on the inside really off to a great start here tonight. That top side, not really where you want to be here at Richmond. It is a one-lane track. It's one of those racetracks where you really do not want to be on that secondary line. You see Boyer gets taken 3 wide here out of turn 4. Kennington doing his best to try and mitigate the damage. Takes that 4-car 3 wide. Jeff Gordon up the inside. Still 3 wide as they head through turns 1 and 2. Kennington going to get clear of the 4, but still stuck on the outside, trying to find a way in front of that 24. Couldn't do it. So Kennington still on the outside. Single file all the rest of the way through. And Matt Kenseth, who has found a lot of his recent success in his career at this racetrack, led every lap so far from first, and he is off to a great start here tonight. Harvick not too far behind in second, as we get settled into the big picture here tonight. So it gets to that point of the season where you can start talking about team-specific environments, how things are going for organizations and whatnot. We've seen a lot of promise out of this Roush team lately, as Biffle obviously collecting this team's first win of the season just a couple of weeks ago. That was at Portland. And for Kenseth, has had a pretty good season points-wise up to this point in the year. You look at him in the standings right now, he currently sits in that 14th spot, lost 2 points positions going after last weekend, but nonetheless has had a very good season up to this point. It's been Biffle who's been on the back foot, but for Matt Kenseth, he's got a lot to race for in that 17 car, as this is going to be his last year with Roush. He already announced that he's not going to be taking a contract extension with that team. Will be hitting the free agent market going into this next offseason. And for Kenseth, you've really got a lot to prove. It's been a couple of years since Kenseth last went to victory lane, and he really would love to snap that streak. It's one of the longest in NASCAR right now between drivers who have actually won races in their career. And to this point, it has been a long, long wait for Kenseth. He's had a couple of chances over these last couple of races and over the course of this season, but would really like to snap out of the funk. He's been dropping backwards in the points a little bit over the last couple of weeks and has a lot to play for. And he's off to a great start here tonight, proving exactly why he's one of the top free agent targets going into next season. Kevin Harvick in the 20 car. Right behind him in that second position has been off to a fabulous start. Gibbs as a whole has had a great season up to this point. And for Harvick, it's been a pretty good year. Lost a couple of spots last week in points, as did Kenseth, of course, alongside that 17 car. Dropped to 7th in the standings, but has had another very solid season with Joe Gibbs up to this point in the year. And though a win has yet to come, if I'm not mistaken, over the course of this 2007 season, has settled in really nicely with his new team. And for Harvick, really, it's really been a tale of 2 men between Harvick before and after leaving Richard Childress Racing. Harvick has really been in a good spot with this Gibbs team. We've seen him perform his absolute best. Had a fantastic season, one of the very best of his career up to this point, last year in the final year of the Gen 4, and this season has been very good as well, has been a contender up front all season long. Seen him lead a lot of laps. We've seen him up in the top 5, the top 10. He's been very competitive. And for Harvick, when we got the chance to talk to him about his new organization, he said, "I've never felt more comfortable." It's been a welcoming environment for Harvick, and though there is a bit of intrigue over what the contract situation is with Harvick at Gibbs, he has had a fantastic run with this team. Definitely seems more comfortable now than ever in that organization with Coach Gibbs as the overseer of his operations. Third place belonging to Todd Bodine in the 77 car. Had a bit of a rough stretch in the middle portion of this season so far, trying to pick it back up, and obviously these short tracks are his bread and butter, and Todd Bodine is off to a very good run to start tonight's race. Started in that third spot, stayed there after the start of the race, and he is laying down some fabulous laps to stay up with these leaders. And Casey Kane, last week's winner, back-to-back Coca-Cola 600s, won by Casey Kane, and his first win with his new team last week, off to a great middle portion of this season, has really kicked it into a new gear. Over the last couple of weeks has been highly competitive, and tonight is no different. He sits in the 4th position in the Altel Pontiac, and Carl Edwards, who has had a great start to tonight's race as well. His only Cup Series career win belonging to him at this very track a couple of years ago, and he is off to another great race at Richmond. Really seems competitive at this racetrack year in, year out, and Roush continuing their strength here in tonight's race as Greg Biffle, another big mover since the start of this race, has moved all the way up into 6th. And those are your current race front runners. No moves for the lead or really anywhere in the top 5 just yet, but Matt Kenseth led every lap so far from the pole. 16 coming to 17 laps completed as Kenseth controls this race. And going through the rest of the top 10 right now, it's a couple of Hendrick cars behind that 16. It's Jeff Gordon in the 7th position, and Jimmy Johnson off to a good start in tonight's race as well. He sits in 8th. Ryan Newman in the 9th position in the 38, and Scott Wimmer trying to find some strength after a bit of a ho-hum middle portion of this year over the last couple of races, trying to find a good run once again, and has found himself some speed here tonight. Sits in the 10th position. Great start for the Crown Royal Dodge. And as of right now, for Wimmer is the only Dodge a member of the top 10 in tonight's race. Kenseth just doing a great job of controlling this race from the pole. Off to a flying start in tonight's race. Will now be his 20th straight lap led since the beginning of this event. Kevin Harvick in that 20 car just has not quite been able to run him down, but issues on the 44 car. That is Brian Vickers having some problems, reporting some elevated engine temperatures. Says the chatter over the radio, might have to bring it down pit road here, pop the hood open. And that's a rough break for Vickers, who is off to a flying start in tonight's race, moved all the way up to 23rd, and it is going to be pit stop off schedule for Brian Vickers as a nightmarish season continues for this 44 team, and Vickers brings it down pit road on lap number 21. And they will go under the hood on that Busch Light Chevrolet. And they get away without little trouble. Will fall a lap down, potentially 2 laps down. And it will be -2 for that 44 car, as Kenseth is going to get past him a second time. And Vickers will merge right around that mid-pack. Another driver off to a great start in tonight's race. Casey Mears in that 55 car, who has had a very fantastic run up in the middle portion of this race, has had some flashes of real speed over the course of this year, that State Farm 55, and has really come into his own over the course of this year. Jamie McMurray and other drivers is off to a pretty good start today. Didn't move forward too much, qualified fairly well during the course of this race, and sits in the 12th position just in front of Mears. But for this 55, having himself another very solid run, as it was Elliott Sadler in that 83, but right behind him, who was trying to get that position for 13th. Had a slightly rougher last handful, 10-15 laps or so for that 83, and has dropped down the order just a smidge, but finds his way back up. Meanwhile, his teammate Juan Pablo Montoya, another big mover, since the beginning of this race, is up to the 16th spot. And you see Carl Edwards is beginning to slip backwards a little bit on this longer run. Lap time is beginning to dissipate on the tires just a little bit. Edwards down to 8th. Loses positions to both Biffle and both of the Hendrick cars, so the 16 makes it a double top 5 for Roush. And Matt Kenseth, just checking out right now, has not too big of a lead over Kevin Harvick, but him and Harvick pretty significantly in front of that number 77, who is right around a second behind that 20. That gap from second to third continuing to open up as Harvick and Kenseth emerging as the early class of the field in tonight's race. Going to be a quarter of the race completed here as we take 30 laps completed. Kenseth still led every lap. That 17 has the early dominant car. Going to be hard to see if he can keep that car together. That's the number one thing you think about when we come to this racetrack in recent memory, is that the guys who lead this show early usually don't like to stick up front. It's really hard to stay up front at this racetrack, keep your car clean, keep it competitive, and not run into trouble on pit road as well. This is one of the hardest pit roads to get onto in the entirety of the Cup Series field. And for these guys, it is really going to be a struggle of just trying to keep it tidy is the number one focus on these guys' mind. And with a race as long as this, with as many laps as there are a lot of opportunities to mess it up. So Kenseth doing what he can, dominating the race early, but still a long, long way to go. Still 3/4 of it left. Battle for position back here between McMurray and Wimmer. And Wimmer now stuck up on that outside, getting freight trained. Gonna lose a spot to the 83 of Elliott Sadler. And Montoya might have something to say on that bottom lane as well, as he's looking to take away 13th from this 23, and will do exactly that. So once again, that outside, just not really the line you want to be on in tonight's race. So we've seen that over the course of this show, and so far it has been a big, big struggle for these guys to not lose 4 or 5 spots, or maybe more if you get stuck on that outer line. These laps continue to wind down. Not a lot of battles for position on this racetrack. We see a 3-horse race for third. This is between Bodine, Kane, and Biffle. We've seen that 12 car hasn't really been able to get very close to that 77. He's been close enough to fill the mirror, but not quite close enough to make the move just yet. Trying to find a way around his Alliance teammate for that third position and move into the podium spots. Meanwhile, Biffle has now filled up the mirror of Kane. Made it 3 cars under a blanket for this position. Might try and move into 4th. Kane drops off the 77 just a little bit. But Biffle not close enough to make a move on the 12 either. You see a train starting to stack up just a little bit. Now Jeff Gordon getting involved in this group. Carl Edwards, who got past Jimmy Johnson a couple of laps ago, into 7th, as well as Johnson himself in 8th, starting to get backed up just a little bit here. Harvick still putting the pressure on Kenseth, but hasn't quite been able to close up, and it is now 40 laps led for Matt Kenseth this time. He has led a third of tonight's race, and all of them have come since the start. It's Been a dominating performance tonight so far, but Kevin Harvick has maybe found something a little late in this run. Kept his tires in just a little bit of better shape, and he has closed the gap to that 17. We might see a battle for the lead here in just a couple of laps. If Harv can put it all together and get to the back bumper of this 17 car. Got way tight there in turn 1, overdrove it pretty hard. And you see Kenseth takes advantage, pulls away just a little bit. Not quite far enough to feel comfortable. And issues for the 23 of Scott Wimmer as he has a tire go down. And he managed to get it to pit road out of harm's way. That's a really rough break for this 23 car, who was having a pretty good run up to that point in the race. Was in the 14th position and has a tire go down late in the run. Not a terrible time for it to happen. Pit stops should be happening not too terribly long from now. But nonetheless, a rough break for Wimmer as he has a tire go down on him in the middle portion of this race. And no caution for the incident, so we stay green. Couple of mechanical issues over the course of this race. It was diagnosed on that 44 car as a coolant leak. And his pit crew patched that up, got him back on the track, down 2 laps now. And Wimmer will get back going as well with that tire failure. Kenseth running one of his better laps of the race that last time by. 20.883, which isn't quite good enough. Well, not even close to his best lap, but rather one of his better laps is based on relative pace. He was way faster than the 20 car of Harvick that last time. These tires are really starting to disappear. We've been seeing these laps dip into the 21s pretty much constantly now. Harvick still putting the pressure on, but just has not been able to get to that back bumper of the 17 and make something happen. He's been close a couple of times, but just hasn't been able to get that move done. But with lap traffic looming now for the race leaders, this could be a chance for Harvick to try and slip into the race lead. As mentioned a couple times earlier, in case you missed it, Matt Kenseth has led every lap of this race so far tonight, but not without a challenge. Harvick has been on the back bumper of this 17 all night long. Question is if he can make this move. It's the closest he's been all night here off of turn 4. See if he gets back in the gas on time. Not quite. But still, lap traffic looming for this 17. First car is Rudiman, the 98. And Kenseth caught him in a big hurry here on the front stretch. Gonna move underneath the fellow Ford down into turn number 1. First car put a lap down on speed in tonight's race. Kevin Harvick also going to get to work and try and get past this 98. Has a chance to dive underneath the Kenseth, but couldn't quite take advantage of it. No harm, no foul. Kenseth retains the lead. And Todd Bodine finally dropped a couple of positions while we were looking away. Casey Kane moved up into the 3rd position. Jeff Gordon also got past that 77, moved into 4th. Bodine's still in the top 5, P5, belonging to that 77. You're starting to see these guys who pit over the course of this race due to mechanical issues. Vickers and Wimmer are cutting through the drivers in the top 10 right now. Ooh, Wimmer got a big piece of the apron behind Ryan Newman's number 38 there that time. They are stacked up big time behind this 77. And there you see the first pit stop of the night as Harvick is going to try and undercut this 17 for the race lead. Harvick brings it into pit road early. And Matt Kenseth, next time by, is going to counterattack, brings it down pit road. But Harvick, the 20, is the very first taker. And he becomes the first scheduled pit stop in tonight's race. Brings it to pit road. Kenseth going to head down as well. Most of the leaders still on the racetrack, though. The 77 and 19 come in. First lap led tonight not by Matt Kenseth is going to belong to Casey Kane as he stays out an extra lap on the pit cycle, bringing it on 55. But Kenseth in. 4 tires and fuel for the 17 here. As we'll see if Harvick can manage to shortcut Kenseth here on this pit stop. Kenseth away well, contending with lap traffic on the way out of pit road. That was Truex Jr. in the 28, leaving turn 2. Harvick on the outside, Kenseth on the inside, and Kevin Harvick moves past the 17 and into the race lead. Should be the net lead for this 20 car here as he moves into first. And trying to catch up on Casey Kane, and he is having a disastrous pit stop here, getting held big time thanks to traffic. And that is a disastrous pit stop for Casey Kane, who is going to drop well out of the battle for this top 5. And you're seeing drivers who were members of the top 10, maybe even top 15 or more, who are going to end up dropping a lap down thanks to the pit lane. Again, we talk about the traffic at this racetrack. There is so many cars that you have to contend with on pit road here. And it is just a disaster. As that was very tight between Bobby East, the rookie, and Martin Truex Jr. leaving pit road there as a 60 had to merge. But you're going to see a lot fewer cars on the lead lap now. Kane dropped a lap down thanks to his pit box. Carl Edwards, another great run gone down the drain. Elliott Sadler gets caught up bad in the pit cycles as well. 3 drivers who are members of the top 15, sometimes one of them even the top 5, as battle for the lead right at the halfway mark. Next time by will be halfway as Matt Kenseth, thanks to the lap traffic, trying to send it up the inside of Kevin Harvick and get this lead back. Still side by side down the backstretch, but going into turn 3, Kenseth trying to get in front of this 20, and he will do just that. Matt Kenseth in front of Kevin Harvick, back to the race lead at halfway, and the 17 reclaims first. Big time block there by Bobby East trying to stay in front of the leader, couldn't do it. Kenseth moves up past the 20 and back into the lead of this race. Third place now belongs to Jeff Gordon's number 24. Fourth will be Todd Bodine. And Ryan Newman now rounds out the top 5 in the 38. Harvick trying to find a way around this 17, Matt Kenseth, who has absolutely cruised in tonight's race. You take a look at the last time that Matt Kenseth went to victory lane, it was race 33 as Kurt Busch, 01 car, having a tire issue here, and that is going to bring out a caution. Dangerous spot on the racetrack to be slow. And that is going to bring out the first caution of tonight's race as Kenseth is going to lead the field back to the yellow flag. Lucky Dog should go to the 26 of Mike McLaughlin. We are under yellow flag for the first time tonight. Half of this race completed before we got our first yellow flag. And you're going to see pit stops under this caution flag. Only about 10 laps after the first cycle, but there was going to be a second pit stop. Should still be a second pit stop, I would have to imagine. Although maybe not, it is within 50 to go, so I think this could be the final pit stop of the race here, folks. And Matt Kenseth just in front of Kevin Harvick, going to lead everybody down the pit lane here on lap number 66. with the lap cars in between. Going to be just these two racing for first off of pit road here. First and second place starters who have absolutely thrashed the field in tonight's race. Four tires and fuel for both contenders. And off the pit lane, Kenseth is going to hold on to first place, just about over Kevin Harvick. Can't quite beat him out of the pit lane. And Matt Kenseth wins the race off the pit road. Man, heavy damage for that 55 at Casey Mears as well. Not sure exactly where this collision came from. I believe it must have been on the first pit cycle under green flag conditions that Mears probably made contact with someone on pit road. And it was the 88 of Dale Jr. Man, that was a heavy hit. Gonna see the lap cars bring it down pit road, but Mike McLaughlin in the 26 will be the lucky dog. Kurt Busch gonna get waved around. And we will take an intermission here from Richmond. Matt Kenseth absolutely dominating the race here tonight. He's led almost the whole show, and he leads here on lap number 67. We'll be right back here from the Pontiac Excitement 400. Back from intermission here from Richmond as we get set to go green. Matt Kenseth in the lead, right on the nose on fuel, but it should be good to the end for all the race leaders. Kenseth and Harvick, who have absolutely dominated this race, that 17 especially, are going to start first and second. Jeff Gordon will be in the third position, Jimmy Johnson in fourth, and Juan Pablo Montoya with a stellar comeback drive here tonight is going to round out your top five as we get set to go green. It'll be lap number 70 for Kenseth, the leader on the restart. Pace car peels off down pit road. And Matt Kenseth into the restart box. Green flag flies. A great start for the race leader as we are away and racing off towards turn one. Montoya jumped underneath of Jimmy Johnson on the start as Greg Biffle gets turned into the inside wall, rebounded to traffic, and they're wrecking on the backstretch. And this is a big collection down into turn three. Several cars involved. Caution comes right back out. Oh, and Carl Edwards hit the pit wall. And a couple more are involved in it, and I believe McLaughlin just went on his side. Goodness gracious. Massive accident on the restart. And we are under caution for the second time tonight. Wow. Goodness me. It was Greg Biffle who just got turned around on the restart to bring out the second caution of the night. You got to look back at this, and it was 3 wide partially, and it was a 23 of Wimmer who sent it down onto the apron and got into the corner of Greg Biffle and sent him into the inside wall, rebounded straight into JJ Yaley, man, what a hit there for the 10 and the 4. Goodness gracious. Just got that quarter on Yaley, and he rebounded right back into Boyer, who was having a great run there, was in the 13th position. Two young drivers having fantastic runs in tonight's race. Both of them get collected in it. And Biffle rebounded into the rest of traffic, and there was nowhere for the back half of the field to go. Grazed across the nose of both of the Petty cars, the 43 and the 54. Bodine got spun around. And then Shane Meal, Hornaday Jr., the points leader, Robbie Gordon, Norris, Edwards, Kane, Bush, and others. And then you saw there, Carl Edwards got into the pit barrels trying to get back on the racetrack, and a couple of others followed him into it. That was the 26 and 01, the 12 to 18. Trying to get around all the carnage and didn't see the pit barrels and just barely clipped him. And that brings out another caution. Will be interesting to see if, I don't think any of the cars who were lapped got through that wreck. Absolutely none of them. So nobody's going to get a lucky dog here, and that was a massive accident on lap number 70 to bring out the second caution of the night. None of the leaders pit. Matt Kenseth still holds the lead. It's lap number 73. We'll take you back to intermission here from Richmond at the Pontiac Excitement 400. Back from intermission here at Richmond as we get set to go green. Matt Kenseth, number 17, still leading this race. Kevin Harvick will restart in second. Jeff Gordon in the third position. Montoya, masterful move on the restart to jump to fourth. And Jimmy Johnson rounds out the top five. And there are a lot of cars out of this race after that last yellow flag. All of the cars that were already lapped got involved in that accident, and we see almost 10 cars out of this race. 19, 26, 1, 83, 01, 16, 18, 10, and 4 have all retired from the race due to their damage. Matt Kenseth is going to lead the field to the restart on lap number 76. 45 laps to go from Richmond. Green flag flies. Much better start from the rest of the top five this time, though Kenseth holds the lead into turn one. Racing off at turn two. No incident further back this time. Everybody keeps it together. And that is three wide off of turn number 4. Scott Wimmer getting split up the middle. Vickers going backwards. McMurray going forwards. 40 car moves into the top 10. Mears with damage on the right side of his race car trying to hold off Kennington and McMurray. Kenseth off to the races once again. Harvick right behind him. Gordon and Montoya not far out of it either. Still battling for position back here in the back end of the top 15. Jeff Burton trying to get around this 23 of Wimmer. Ambrose having himself another great run here tonight. He's in the top 15. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to recover from earlier damage sustained on pit road with that incident with Mears. Montoya trying to block for his life for fourth. Keeping a close eye on these damaged cars. There are quite a few of them. 40 laps to go here from Richmond. Top 4 have broken away. Kenseth has put down a clinic, and what was being mentioned before that caution came out, the first of the 2 yellows, is Kenseth. Last time this 17 car went to victory lane, it was race 33 of 2004. 2 straight winless seasons for Matt Kenseth. And it has been such a long wait for Kenseth to go back to victory lane. His last win, trying to do the math in my head right now. It's quite a long time ago. Would be now 87 races ago. Would be the last time, or rather that is the amount of races in between Kenseth's last win and this current one. It has been a long, long time coming for this 17 car, but he is far from out of the woods. Kevin Harvick, who has been hungry for his first win this season, has been hot on his tail all night long. And we're seeing a couple cars that are going to drop out of this race due to minimum speed. The 07 car, the 43, and the 54. So it'll be a total wipeout for Petty, as the 43, 54, and the Alliance 26 are all going to be parked from this race. Well, the 26 had unrepairable damage, and Mayfield and Kyle Busch failed to meet minimum speed, so they're going to be brought down pit road here as well. A couple of cars that might be DQ'd from this race. Shane Meal, maybe Todd Bodine, who are also well off the pace. Newman is the last member of the top 5 trying to catch up to these race leaders, who's been running the best laps of the top 5 late in this race. As laps continue to trickle away. And Shane Meal well off of minimum speed, and the 47 is going to be another disqualification due to minimum speed in this race. Kane and Bodine are towing the line, but seem like they're okay. Very, very close. And this time by for Matt Kenseth, it'll be 30 laps to go here from Richmond. But Kevin Harvick is looking closer than he has been all night long. And Jeff Gordon is hot on the tail of these two as well. Having himself a fabulous night. And Ryan Newman has looked better than all of the rest of the top 5. And issues for the 2. This is Brad Keselowski blowing up, and he is smoking on the racetrack, and that is going to bring out the 3rd caution of the night. And we have ourselves a spicy one. Yellow flag is out. Inside 30 to go. Kenseth holds the lead, and we are under caution once more. Lucky Dog will go to the 98 of David Ruderman. Kenseth narrowly holds on to first. And everybody is going to stay out here. We'll take an intermission once again here from Richmond. Keselowski blows up, brings out the yellow, lap number 93, and we will be right back here from the Pontiac Excitement 400. Back from intermission here at Richmond as we get set to go green this time by. It'll be 98 of 120 on the restart for the race leader, Matt Kenseth, as Kevin Harvick, who has been nipping at his heels all night long, trying to deny this 17 this win, he'll restart in second. Jeff Gordon, competitive late in this race as well. He's in the third position. Ryan Newman sits in fourth, and Juan Pablo Montoya rounds out the top five. Approaching 20 laps to go. It's crunch time here in Richmond as this chaotic race continues to get crazier. And that late yellow flag brings everybody in this top five back together. Pace car peels off. Kenseth into the restart box, approaching the restart. And the green flag flies once again. And Kenseth caught sleeping a little bit on that restart. Harvick pulls up just a little bit. Kenseth sails it off into turn one to hold on to first. Side by side for the fourth position, Montoya again jumping to the inside on these restarts. He moves into P4. Cannington coming alive late. He moves into the fifth position, and Newman drops out of the top five. Mears trying to get this 38 for sixth. Harvick and Kenseth beginning to pull away once again. Jeff Gordon not far out of it in third. Montoya right on the back bumper of the 24 for the third spot. Cannington and Mears trying to duke it out for the fifth position. Montoya gave Gordon a look going into turn three. Couldn't quite get underneath him. Couldn't quite get him. Stewart, also another driver moving up the order late, trying to get the sixth spot from Mears. And he does exactly that. 20, now 19 laps to go for Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick. Harvick took a look underneath the 17 into turn one, could not get him, pushes tight in turn one. That brings Jeff Gordon back into this mix. But Harvick had a monster run out of turn four, trying to get to the back bumper of Kenseth and make a move for this lead. Does he get underneath him in turn one? He did for a moment. Can he stay there? Kenseth trying to block him down the backstretch, side by side for the race lead. And off of turn four, Harvick's got first. Jeff Gordon trying to move into the second position. And Kenseth could be seeing another win slip through his fingers. Gordon moves into second place. Kenseth trying to rebound. Got back down to the bottom, looking to get a run out of turn four. He did exactly that. The question is if he can get underneath the Gordon going into turn one. Gave him a look. Almost gave him the bumper. Real tight for that second spot. Montoya under fire from Kennington. This is for fourth. Couldn't get the spot. 15 to go for Kevin Harvick now. Stewart got caught on the back foot there thanks to the move from Kennington that didn't work out, forced him to the high side, and Newman took away sixth. Casey Atwood has found his way into the top 10 late, a run he absolutely needed. But it is all to play for up front. Gordon trying to run down this 20 car for the race lead, and Kenseth trying to find a way to retake second place. Gordon had a fantastic entry to turn one that last time. Gained a little bit on that 20, but gave it all up out of the corner. Harvick has really nailed these corner exits here tonight. That's been his strong suit all night long. Kenseth, a big run out of turn four. Gonna try to go to the bottom in turn one. Gordon all the way up the hill. Kenseth down to the bottom, looking to take second, get himself back into the catbird seat. Side by side down the backstretch. But Gordon cuts him off and holds on to P2. Montoya trying to block off Kennington. That's for fourth. Kenseth still piling the pressure on Jeff Gordon. 11 laps to go. Big bobble from Montoya there in turn one. And this time by for Harvick, trying to steal the trophy here tonight. 10 to go for the Home Depot Chevrolet. And he is beginning to run away from that 24 car. Gordon running just a tiny hair of a lane lower into turn 3, trying to cover off that 17 car and hold on to second place and maybe make one more run at that 20 for the lead. But Harvick is beginning to scoot away at the end of this race. Eight to go here from Richmond. Battle for position, Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman for sixth. These two have been going at it in the last handful of laps. Still side by side as they head down the backstretch. But through 3 and 4 on the bottom, Tony Stewart moves back to sixth. Gordon a couple of tenths of a second a lap faster than that 20 the last time by. He's running out of time, but might have one more breath under the hood of that DuPont Chevrolet, but he's got to run Harvick down in a hurry if he wants to get a shot at this win. 6 to go for Kevin Harvick this time. And he gained all that time back. Stewart trying to find a way into the top 5 past Kennington. Could not get underneath him. McMurray is trying to find a way back into the top 10. Following Dale Jr. for the 10th position. 5 laps to go here tonight. Gordon again just a little bit faster. But he's 6 tenths behind. He's got to make up all that time in a hurry. And again, it's been inconsistent for that 24 since the drop of the green flag. Has not been able to string the fast laps together. Harvick only half a tenth slower than the 24 that time, but Gordon got into one real hot that time, but made it stick. 4 to go, coming to 3 to go, and Jeff Gordon is starting to maybe reel Harvick back in, but I just don't think he's got enough time to do it. Was again a couple of tenths a second a lap faster, but he's got to gain 2 tenths a lap in order to just get there. Stewart underneath Kennington for the top 5. Battle for position, 42-81, and Stewart's got to prevail. Kennington had to come out of the throttle. Newman trying to take 6th. And Harvick looking to seal the deal. And issues on the racetrack, 51 and 60 didn't make it on fuel. And tell you what, that 24 is closing in a hurry. White flag is in the air. Harvick trying to nurse it back around to the checkered. Jeff Gordon's closing in, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless Harvick bobbles here going into 3 and 4. Final time through. Harvick is going to close it out. Ran second all night to the 17, but he's the closer for a reason. Kevin Harvick wins it here at Richmond. It is heartbreak for the 17 again as he comes up just short of another win. But Kevin Harvick collects his first win of 2007. And he wins it here tonight. Dominating performance by the 17 and the 20, but only one of them could have won it, and Kevin Harvick. And man, 60 of Bobby East going around to finish the race, just ran into the 17 of Kenseth there. Don't know what the deal was with that, but Kevin Harvick, winner here tonight. Closed it out. And we take a look back at the move that won him this race. Just inside 20 to go. It was 18 laps left where he finally found his way underneath that 17, nipped at his ankles all night long. And it was right there off of turn 2. Kenseth cut it just a little too tight, had to get out of Harvick's way so he didn't turn himself. And that was curtains, and Jeff Gordon just could not quite close all the way up. He made it a valiant effort, got all the way to the back bumper there at the start of the last lap. Well, Harvick held him off. And the 20 car is your winner here tonight. So it was a chaotic race here from Richmond. We saw comers, goers, everything in between, but the two dominant cars of the night absolutely put on a clinic despite all the adversity. But once again, only one of them could win it. And Kevin Harvick is going to be your winner here from Richmond after a chaotic race. Here, race number 13, the Pontiac Excitement 400 comes to a close. That'll do it for coverage here from Richmond, as Kevin Harvick is your race winner here tonight. I've been your host, Caden Reif. It's been a pleasure to have you along, as always. Next week, it'll be race number 14 as the Cup Series Garage heads to Nashville. It'll be the Dr. Pepper 400. But we'll see you then, and as always, have yourself a good one.
It's a long way to the top.